Oh my God, they did it again. We won another football game in the year of our Lord 2022. We are going to talk about it, but it's not just me babbling. Oh no, we got Connor Muldowney joining us too. Let's have a party. Let's go.
Are Locked On Spartans, your daily podcast on the Michigan State Spartans, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Connor, Locked On Spartans listeners, Locked On Spartans viewers, they did it. They did.
We're back.
They did it.
We're back.
Back?
We're back.
I feel as back as a 3-4 team could possibly be. I'm going to try to keep the line in the cage right now. I'm not going to get ahead of my skis right now. But with that said, Connor, that felt good. We haven't felt that in a while. That's been a long time since we felt a little victory. I'm drinking out of celebration tonight, not out of complete misery and sadness. These beers are hitting a little different tonight, aren't they? This is nice. I like this.
This was arguably as good of a feeling as this might be a little too far, but it feels like we just beat Michigan.
Let's go. You know what?
This
feels like the Rose Bowl again. No, I'm kidding.
Before people jump down my throat here,
too late.
This month-long absence of wins has felt like years. It has felt like literally years. So getting that win, just like when we took the lead, I was going crazy. I was going crazy.
Oh.
That was our first lead since Akron.
That's a long time. That's a really long time. That's a long time.
Yeah, but I was celebrating like we just won the game, and we obviously didn't. It went to
it was not easy. No. And look, we got so much to talk about today. We'll try to keep this to a half-hour show. I think we both know that might not happen necessarily, but there's so much that happened because, hey, look, obviously we're going to celebrate the win, talk about all the good things, but holy smokes, did Michigan State avoid losing despite putting roughly 18 bullets in their own foot throughout the game. Just an insane list of just self-inflicted adversity given to them. But hey, we're here to talk about the good things. We're here to talk about the 34-28 double overtime win right now, Connor. And there's two of us on the show right now. And one of us was smart. One of us had faith in the team. One of us wrote on SpartanShadows.com that, yes, Michigan State is going to beat the Wisconsin Badgers. And the other one is just a clown, I guess, because I did not have any faith in this team. I thought they would be going out for their fifth straight loss, and that's not the case. So, Connor, let's drop the top. Let's flex a little bit. What specifically did you get correct about today's game? What did you see from Michigan State that you saw the vision of when you wrote this piece?
I mean, I don't want to brag. I don't like to...
No, brag. You're supposed to brag. Come on,
I was pretty much spot on most of my stuff. But I hate bragging. I hate tooting my own horn. But
I'll do it for you then.
You were wrong. Yeah. You looked like
I was very wrong.
And I won. I was right.
That's true.
So basically, my whole premise of this is it was kind of like we're due. We're due. I really had nothing other than it was like a gut feeling. Yeah. It was a gut feeling. It was a gut feeling. I thought Michigan State, this is the most winnable game that they've had. I thought Minnesota was winnable. I was wrong. I thought Maryland was winnable. I was wrong. I thought Washington was winnable. I was wrong. And this, I was right. I mean, 1 for 4, not bad. I didn't think Ohio State was winnable, so I guess I was kind of right there. I just thought that our defense was going to actually show up against a terrible Wisconsin offense, and they did.
Good. Yeah.
And they did. They made Graham Mertz look like Graham Mertz, which was fantastic. They didn't make Graham Mertz look like C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young.
Sure.
Tanner Morgan. I watched the Illinois-Minnesota game today, and I'm still shocked that we made him look so good. I just thought our defense was gonna do something. I think I predicted 3 turnovers. I think they had 2, but one of them was that huge fumble in overtime, which do we know who caused the fumble? Who is the causer of the fumble?
All I know is that Deshaun Mallory hopped on the fumble. That's all I got. I was too busy running around to the next room in celebration of the fumble before going back to my couch and then wondering, Are we going to really point the gun straight at our foot and do this again? Like, how are we going to blow it this time? But hey, no, they did it because the old throw to Jayden Reed play seemed to work this time around, Connor. Hey, turns out Michigan State's receivers still really good. We'll just throw one up to Keon Coleman. We'll have even Jayden Reed throw a ball up to Keon Coleman. Let's mix it up a little bit. And then, hey, Jayden Reed. So if you're watching on YouTube, this is the picture. You can see it maybe in 4 pixels on your screen, but his catch against Penn State, and it's inscribed always open, Jayden Reed, and that's not like bragging. That's not being arrogant. That's just accurate. Jayden Reed is always open. This man is always open. Like this is his, 3rd decisive touchdown that he's had in the last 3 years. You count the Peach Bowl, you count the Penn State game, and now this one, like, maybe I'm missing one, but
huge one against Michigan. 2 of them, actually.
Of course. Like the 2-point conversion. Like, man, it's been incredible to have Jayden Reed back after his like really wonky offseason with injuries, and then that back injury that he gets tackled into a metal bench, and you're starting to wonder like what voodoo witch did he upset in the offseason? It's like this is a really weird kind of streak that he's on right now, but it's nice that they're back on the right side of history here, and I think that's another thing you highlighted as well is just, Michigan State's got the receiver advantage. So is there anything else you still want to brag about with your prediction? Because this is the time to do it here, man, because you've highlighted a lot of good stuff that ended up being true.
No, I wrote last week after the Ohio State game that Jayden Reed got his mojo back, and obviously that translated into this one. I mean, when he's healthy, this offense is completely different. It didn't look different like from the first through third quarters, but once they started figuring out that Wisconsin can't guard him, I mean, they were just, like a 5-yard slant. Like he'll take that and turn it into a 20-yard game. Just throw the ball. Just throw the ball to him. He's always open. And even on the play that was thrown up to him, I think it was in the 4th quarter, they just kind of threw it up to him, and he got a pass interference call that was probably a little bit uncatchable. But
neither here nor there. That's okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's okay. That's okay. Payton Thorne gets a lot of hate lately, and deservedly so, because he's looked lackluster, not up to his standards, which, I mean, we heard all offseason how he was this new quarterback and he was going to be great. Yeah. But he looked good today. He looked really good today. He didn't make any mistakes. He didn't throw any stupid interceptions. He pretty much put the ball on the money all afternoon long, and I think that he should get a little bit of credit for this huge win. I mean, it was Reed, but it was also Thorne.
I'm totally on board with you here. I think it was a tale of two halves for him as well. Like the first half, okay, great. Maybe Kim should get a little loose right here, but like that 4th quarter, like he came to life, and especially, hey, it helps when you just throw the ball to Malik Carr and he has the play of the season, if not his career at Michigan State so far, which was very important in this 97-yard drive that Michigan State had. But like he just looked like the Payton Thorne that we all knew, especially in that 4th quarter. And yes, of course, like, hey, sometimes it's just easy to say, well, screw it. Neon Keon or Jayden Reed is down there somewhere. Let's just huck up a deep ball and just see what happens. But look, those were still good passes. Like they were still right there. And man, in big spots too, because I don't know, man, what was it? 3rd and 12 in overtime, or 3rd and long, let's just call it. Maybe it wasn't 3rd and 12 exactly, but like, look, I don't know how comfortable I am with a 49-yard field goal, especially with this field goal unit necessarily. So you kind of needed that throw and you kind of needed that catch, and you got both of it. And also really quick, we'll wrap up the offense right here and then switch to the defense in the next segment. But I thought the pass protection was very nice. I thought it was very nice today, which we've talked up and down, especially the last 4 weeks when this losing streak has been kind of looming over all of us, that the offensive line has kind of stunk up the joint. I thought they were as good as they have been all season. They kept Payton Thorne for the most part upright. I think it was only 2 sacks. The box score had them for 3 pass rushes, but overall, I mean, hey, it looked like a pretty comfortable game out there for Payton Thorne. So, shout out goes to the offensive line right here. And also, I got to say, Jarrett Horst with the unsportsmanlike conduct flag, he's the only one that's allowed to do that. I have no stats to back this up or anything. I haven't written anything down or done any research, but I feel like going back to last year, whenever he had an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, he would ball out the rest of the game. He was just like the best offensive. So when I saw him get that flag in the first quarter or first half, whenever it was, I was like, oh yeah. Oh, we're going to get some good offensive tackle play coming up here. Like you can have that, Jarrett. You're allowed that.
Yeah, I thought the offensive line looked really, I mean, I have no complaints other than the run game. There's just not enough holes, and
it is what it is now.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
It is what it is. But
right,
I thought they kept Thorne clean, and obviously you see what Thorne can do when he has a clean pocket and he has time to throw. He can make all the throws, and honestly, his awareness today was fantastic. And I don't know if it was a fourth quarter. It was to lead to the go ahead touchdown where he threw that pass to Coleman on was it 3rd and short or 4th and short or one of the two. He just threw it up to Coleman. It was like a 20-yard gain. And the awareness on that whole play, knowing that he had a mismatch, and I don't know if it was an offsides too, possibly, but he had a mismatch and he threw it up to him. I love the ballsiness of the game today, the whole game calling, and Jay Johnson had a few, questionable decisions that, I mean, the early goal line play calling was horrendous, but I don't want to make you mad because we won the game. We won the game.
Oh no, we're gonna get to all that in the third segment. Yeah. Don't worry, because again, hey, this is a win, but not without its blemishes. Oh my God, like there's some actual concerns that we still have with this team, but we're gonna try to be happy for one more segment before we get to that. Here, we'll talk the defense. Absolutely, but yeah, just closing thought too on the offense and Payton Thorne. Like, look, if they do what they're supposed to do at the end of regulation and you kick that field goal and everything's all great, we're also talking about Payton Thorne's conversion on 3rd and 8 where he tucked it and ran. Like that was a brilliant play as well. Unfortunately, thanks to just great game management by the coaching staff, it amounted to nothing in the end. But hey, so nice, almost kind of game-winning play on a sort of game-winning drive there, Payton. We'll give you some stars for that.
That was huge.
It was great. It was awesome. It was like, what's the house of the Payton that we've known. Yeah.
I didn't understand the clock management, but we'll get to that.
We'll spend no less than...
My brain is mush thinking about it, but yes, that play by Thorne was great.
So was Mel's apparently too. Anyway, we'll get to that in a hot second, Connor. But I just need to talk to people's ears off about SimpliSafe. That's right. We're talking home security, and we're talking keeping you protected. Just like the offensive line protected Payton Thorne for the majority of Saturday evening. The numbers don't lie. In the last decade, over 4 million people have chosen SimpliSafe home security to protect their home. You don't earn the trust of that many people without doing something right. And at SimpliSafe, your safety is the only thing that matters. I know because I use SimpliSafe in my own home. They protect you with cutting-edge security technology powered by 24/7 professional monitoring agents who always have your back. It is great. SimpliSafe, they just take care of you. I mean, just point blank, period, as I try to shut off a video on ESPN that's playing in my headphones. With 24/7 professional monitoring, SimpliSafe's agents call you the moment a threat is detected and dispatch police or first responders in an emergency. Even if you're not home and can't be reached, SimpliSafe blankets your home in protection with advanced sensors for every room, window, and door, HD security cameras for inside and outside your home, smarter ways to detect motion that only alert you when the threat is real, and even hazard sensors that instantly detect fires, floods, and other threats to your home. Customize a perfect system for your home in just a few minutes at simplisafe.com/lockedoncollege. That's right, save 20% off on your SimpliSafe security system when you sign up for an interactive monitoring plan and get your first month free. Visit simplisafe.com/lockedoncollege to learn more. There is no safe like SimpliSafe. And as we welcome back the wonderful Connor Muldowney of SpartanAvenue.com, SpartanShadows.com, he does it all. Hey, thank you all very much for making us your first listen every single day, especially on Victory Saturday, Sunday, Monday, whenever you're listening to this. Thanks a lot for giving us a listen. Connor, defense did really good, and we're not used to talking about that, especially the last few weeks. Graham Mertz, 131 passing yards. Wisconsin's running attack, just 152 yards on 39 carries for 3.9 yards per carry. And you know what? Hey, I got the game wrong. I thought Wisconsin was going to win, but there was one piece of optimism that we talked about on Friday, and it's that Wisconsin's running game isn't like as electric as it usually is and as the numbers say. And hey, it really helps too when you have Simeon Barrow clogging up lanes, Jacob Slade back. It was just nice to have these guys back. Also, obviously, Xavier Henderson as well. But what stuck out to you the most? As you were boots on the ground in Spartan Stadium as well, you had a first-person view of all this. What stuck out the most to you about this defensive performance today?
I mean, getting Xavier Henderson back is so big for this defense that I don't think it can be really – I feel like it gets lost in the shuffle a little bit that he might not make every single play out there. He might not be the best, defender on the field. He probably is our best defender, but he's probably not like, the kind of guy that'll change the game by himself. But, his leadership back there, the communication when he's back there, when someone makes a mistake or something, he holds people accountable. He's always, telling them what they did wrong. He holds people accountable. He gets in their ear. He kind of, nobody can make a mistake and not hear about it when he's on the field, which is great.
Right.
That's what
Yeah.
Because all season Michigan State's been making mistakes defensively, and it's just like, oh, it's good. I mean, we'll go back out there and probably do the same thing next time. But like even like Amir Speed has a missed coverage, and he goes over to him and says something. It's just like we need something like that because Amir Speed might be a fifth-year senior or whatever. Is he a fifth-year senior? He's a grad transfer, fifth-year senior, I think. But I mean, he needs someone to kind of be like, hey, this is what you did. That's, it's great to have Slade back and Barrow. I think he's been hurt a little bit this year, but having Henderson back there, it just changes the whole thing, like the whole game. The secondary looked completely different today. Obviously, Speed had a few missed coverages, but I'm not even going to talk about the one where I'm not going to talk about the one where he had all he had to do was guard the goal line, and somehow there's a guy 5 yards behind him. I don't even know if there was 5 yards to have. Either way, it doesn't matter. It was the whole game looked different with Henderson out there. The whole defense looked different. It was good to see.
Look, you're not going to have a perfect game from this defensive secondary unit, no doubt about it. But yeah, like it really did feel like, the defensive secondary just got their chaperone of the field trip back. Like these kids are running all over the zoo. No one knows what's going on. Like everyone's just lost out there. Henderson's in charge of everyone's lunch money and everyone's just starving out there. And then he comes back and everything just seems so calm. It's just better. Look, it'll never be perfect. It'll never be great. Maybe all that we can hope for is just that, hey, maybe sometimes it can be good and you need number 3 in the fold there. And my God, did not look like he was going to be back in the fold as the very first play of the game. Oh, great. He's hobbling off to the sideline with an injury as he also has this brace that it looks like it's the Eiffel Tower on his leg.
Yeah.
Right. It's ridiculous. So it's like, oh, great. Awesome. More of the same from MSU. Just guys getting hurt left and right. It's looking like Normandy out there. Here we go again. But no, he actually obviously bounced back, was able to come back into the game and shook things up. So yeah, another guy we got to talk about though on the defense is a guy that very luckily enough has been healthy for all the season as far as I'm concerned, but Jacoby Windmon stepping back to the linebacker position. That's a little saucy move right there, and one that was obviously necessary because Windmon was just a star. 11 tackles, 5 solo tackles, 2 tackle for losses. Or is it tackles for loss? Regardless, any way you tackles for losses. Yeah, tackles.
No. Tackles for loss.
Tackles for Lawson. Tackles for Lawson. And also the interception to put Michigan State on the 12-yard line to just finally get in the end zone after, the offense didn't necessarily do that their first time down the field. But yeah, that was a, safe to say, momentum shifter. And yeah, Windmon just look incredible out there. And it's also looking like that MSU are running like a 4-3 sort of thing right now. I mean, okay, that's sure. Why not? Let's give it a try. Let's go give her a try.
Like even the fact that he was there, I don't even care if like it didn't work out or anything. It just shows that they're changing something.
Just give me something new.
There's some sort of adjustment. And it worked out. It was perfect. Like that's obviously like he had a great first couple of games at defensive end. That looked like his like natural position. In the first couple of games, obviously, the competition wasn't quite as fierce, but I mean, he looked so natural at linebacker today. And I think that, I mean, if Michigan State runs a 4-3, that's exactly where he needs to be. Like he could be a blitzing linebacker. He found his way in the backfield multiple times and made tackles in the run game. He looked really good. And then that interception, it was an awful throw. It was a very Graham Mertz throw, but
it was awesome. I loved it.
It was a great play. Yeah, I loved it too. It was an actual interception that wasn't just like CJ Stroud throwing it to Brantley like for no reason type of interception. Yeah. It was a legit interception.
Yeah, no, it was the first interception this year by Michigan State where a player had to exert even the slightest ounce of effort. Yeah, right. Like, no, God, it was great to see Graham Mertz back though, because I was very worried because last week 5 touchdowns, 299 passing yards, and that's with the first game where the rumor was that okay, the OC has full control of the offense. Paul Chris doesn't have it. It's like okay, the first game under the new guy, he's putting up career numbers.
Right.
But then he throws that very high risk, low reward pass in his own end zone. It's like, Graham, you're back, baby. You haven't changed, you old wily son of a, you know what? Like you're the same guy that we've always known. So that was nice to see him.
That was nice.
It was nice to see Graham Mertz return. You know what? A lot of great returns on Michigan State's defense, like Slade, Barrow, Henderson. But it was also nice to see Graham Mertz just say, like, "Hey, it's me again."
It was a sight for sore eyes for Michigan State fans. I think, like having witnessed 6 Heisman candidates pretty much come through and face our defense. Like
I know.
It was. I mean, DJ Irons of Akron even looked like a Heisman candidate before he got hurt. But I mean, our Graham Mertz was like. It was like a gift. He just was just sent down from the heavens and just placed in our I'm thankful this year for Graham Mertz.
The last thing we got before this bye week was some Graham Mertz medicine. And it happened. It was great.
That needs to be trademarked or something. Graham Mertz medicine.
It does. You know what? We'll try to get an NIL deal with him too. I'm sure he'll be all in on that.
He'll be down for that one.
I just simply cannot wait for it. Connor, before we wipe the smiles off our face and start to talk about maybe why this had to go to double overtime, any other fun notes or any other good news you want to share before we kind of turn into not mopey zoo lions, but just kind of slightly under the weather zoo lions in the next segment?
Well, I just wanted to say that the crowd at the game, I will say, the crowd was great. The crowd was great. Student section obviously does their thing at halftime. We lost the entire upper deck, which is, very normal for a straight to the Ricks type of night. But hashtag straight to Ricks. So I thought that the rest of the crowd was great. Like for a 2-4 team, most 2-4 teams, if you're not Nebraska, don't put out this kind of crowd. They really don't. And the fact that everybody stayed to the end, people were singing Sweet Caroline after the win. It was incredible. The fans were great all game long. And I mean, you don't see that. So I think the crowd deserves plenty of props for putting up with a 14-7 game for the better part of 3 quarters. And I'm not just saying that because I was part of that crowd. I'm saying it because I truly believe that this Wisconsin Michigan State crowd was the best that I've seen in a long time.
No doubt. And look, the Ohio State game crowd too was pretty good as well. But obviously, okay, when it's a skrillion to 7 at halftime, the State fans are going to leave. But hey, team gave the fans something to stick around for. And the fans.
The score at halftime?
Say what?
What was the score at halftime?
A skrillion to 7. In the Ohio State game. I don't know if you remember or not. Maybe you just tucked that away, luckily. But it was nice to see just a competitive game. You know what? It's sad. It's pathetic. But it was just nice to see a competitive game in the second half again. And then the cherry on top. Hey, we're throwing a tally in the win column. This is great. Oh, man. It was fantastic. Yeah. Oh, but Connor.
Don't do
it.
It
almost wasn't like that. But hey, before we get to that, hold on. Right? We got one more piece of good news, and that is sharing the wonderful things that BetOnline.net is doing. That's right. We're talking BetOnline.net, the #1 source for all your sports gambling needs, because hey, they got you taken care of from all over the map. We're talking finding all the latest player developments, finding all the team matchups, all the news, podcasts, and in-depth articles and analysis on every game you can find. And as always, BetOnline remains your continued source for all your sports wagering information with live betting and up-to-the-minute scores for every single sport out there. We're talking MLB, MMA, boxing, golf. They got esports as well. That's right. The fastest and easiest way to check in on all of those games, events is at BetOnline. So what are you waiting for? Head to betonline.net. Use your mobile device. Learn more about the trends and action. That is at betonline.net, where the game starts. And let's get Connor Muldowney back in the fold here to talk about this great win. Look, double overtime. It was awesome. We're back in the win column. However, if you want nothing but positivity, you just want to focus on the good things of the game, I'll never tell anyone to turn the podcast off, but we're going to have some tough conversations right now because Wow. Whoa. Okay. Where do you want to start with this one? Because it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows on the way to that win, because we're going to go right to the top, actually. We're not even going to beat around the bush. We're going right to the CEO on this one, Mr. Mel Tucker. And Connor, I'm sorry if I'm going to ramble here for a little bit. I promise I'll let you talk eventually. But that end of the game sequence was unfortunately very reminiscent of the John L. Smith era. And no, that's not hyperbole. That's not like me exaggerating. That quite literally did happen. Everyone knows the clip of what I'm talking about. The rush field goal at the end of the first half. Ohio State blocks it, returns it for a touchdown. And John L. Smith said, hey, kids are playing their tail off, but the coaches are screwing it up. This was almost more perilous, because this wasn't just the end of the first half. This was the end of the game. First of all, you run your first 2 plays on first down, settling seemingly for a 50-yard field goal when you don't even know if you have a kicker that can make an extra point in your room. But yeah, let's just, simmer down the play calling. Let's not get aggressive. Let's just focus on that 50-yard field goal that we could possibly hit. Why not? And then on third down, okay, well, you're out of timeouts. If you get past the sticks and catch the ball, clock stops. You can spike it. If it's an incomplete pass, the rule book states the clock stops too. Let's just throw a pass behind the sticks, catch it, and oh my God, it is a fire drill out here. Everyone get out here. Payton, sure, yeah, line up for this kick. Fumbled snap. Bryce Behringer, who, by the way, has a cannon for an arm. I did not know this. Like, he yeeted that ball downfield. And luckily, the guy that intercepted the ball fell down immediately, because as it was in the air, I'm like, pick six? Is this how we lose this one? Pick six coming up? But look, I don't think I'm being over-exaggerating here, but that's inexcusable. That is coaching malpractice right there, and it's not the first time we've seen it. We saw it against the Indiana game last year where, okay, I don't know if it was a pre-snap audible to throw the ball to the end zone when you really had the game in hand. Indiana intercepts the ball. They could have won that game, except, well, the fact they're Indiana. And then the first half against Rutgers last year, complete gong show. But you're 3 for 3. You've won all 3 of these games. I'm just saying, one of these times, this in-game coaching circus is going to bite you. Michigan State got lucky that it didn't. And of course, okay, look, we can talk about the players too. 67 penalty yards in the first 25 minutes of the game. Michael Fletcher's penalty wasn't that great. They somehow dropped 3 game-winning interceptions in 2 plays. 2 players dropped the same pass in 1 play in overtime. That nearly had my head going through the drywall. And he also gave up a 3rd and 17 conversion right off the top. 2nd and 19 conversion at the end of the game. But look, I think the story here of bad things has to be coaching, right? Am I kind of speaking for you right here, or does something else pop out more for you?
No, you're pretty much spot on. I think if State would have lost that game, that would have gone down as like one of the worst coaching endings to a game that we've seen since, like you said, John L. Smith.
I can't even think of another one. No, the Arizona State game, Mark D'Antonio, that whole field goal thing at the end. But regardless,
honestly, the mistakes that we made, like, why? Hold on. Why? First of all, why? Second of all, why are we calling our last timeout before we kick a field goal? Before we line up to kick a field goal with under a minute left? Why? And in the history of coaching, how many coaches have made that mistake? Not any good ones. Nobody good does that. I love Mel Tucker. I believe Mel Tucker. He has to know that was arguably the most John L. he will hopefully ever be. Hopefully.
It can't get worse, right? It can't get worse than that.
That was unbelievably bad. And he knows that. He has to know that. But, like, did he not know that we were out of time? Like, I want to know what was going on. Like, hey, we're going to complete this little tiny screen pass that loses yards and then run our field goal unit out. There's nothing wrong that could happen there. Our proven Ben Patton is gonna step up and nail this 50-yarder like he's at the Iron Bowl. Like, what are we doing? Why are we in the position where he's still taking his 3 steps back with 10 seconds left? Why is that? Why?
And like the snap gets fumbled, and honestly, I'm like, of course it did. Like I'm not faulting the players at all. Like this is what an insane scene going on in the field. Like of course that wasn't going to go well.
Fumbled. Thank God it wasn't like snapped 10 feet over his head in the other direction.
Yeah. Right, or just like guy coming right through for a clean block, scoop and score like that. It could have been disastrous because we've literally seen it happen like that many years ago from a disgraced head coach leading his team. It's like it was crazy. But you know what? Here's the thing. I'm not done either. Hold on, I got some little things that I also want to gripe about too. Third to last drive of the game, pretty important. I think the game was tied, if I'm not mistaken, and let's just start this drive off with 2 handoffs to our third running back in Jarek Broussard. The guy who has not done, look, this is incredibly mean for me to say, hasn't done anything in East Lansing. Let's just give him 2 carries right off the bat in a very important drive right here. And Connor, you'll be shocked to remember that those 2 carries went for a combined 1 yard. So thank you. That's how we're going to kick off our drive right here. Not Jalen Berger, who's, he had a fine game, had some good moments, or Eli Collins, the guy who I think is the proven first running back in the room. No, let's give it to the guy who just can't really even stand on his own feet when he gets the ball, to put it bluntly. So you had that as well, and oh my God, just no. Well, okay. Yeah, I am nitpicking here, but you know what? 'Tis the season for it. Them lined up to go for it on 4th and 2, like at midfield in the first half. Thank God there was a false start because that could have been a disastrous play. Your defense is playing good. Your offense is not. Why are we going for it on 4th down right here around midfield? But I digress. It didn't happen. There was a false start that prevented him from even running the play. But oh man, it's just like there were some decisions made that I did not agree with, Connor.
I mean, you and me both. I pretty much fired out a spicy tweet right after the goal line. The goal line 3 run, the same 3 run plays I think we ran in a row, and I think we netted -1 yard after we got to the 1 yard line. And I fired off a spicy tweet that was fired Jay Johnson on the spot, and I stand by that. Even though obviously I'll walk it back a little bit, but just firmly put me in my place.
Yeah,
that whole sequence, it was like, here we go again. This is gonna be same play calling. Like, I get running. You're at the goal line. You have to run to get a yard. Like, you're going to get a yard if you run eventually, maybe, possibly, if you're not Michigan State. Run up the middle, run up the middle, run up the middle. 0 yards. 4th down and goal. What do? Run up the middle. Guess what happens? -1 yard. So I guess it wasn't all the same. But, like, what happened to play actions? Do play actions at the goal line? Those work for every team in America. Every team. Do one of them. Do one. You have 4 chances. Do it once. If it doesn't work, you can run again. I don't care. Do whatever you want. But running 4 times at the goal line.
No, and it's really not good too because look, a lot of people know this by now. I'm not a smart person at all. I knew exactly what was going to happen all 4 of those plays, though. If I'm telling you what's going to happen all 4 plays in order, what's the defense and professional coaches going to do? Like they're going to, So
I think you're smart, by the way. If I don't want to get off track here.
Thanks.
That doesn't say much because I'm a stupid shardy. So.
Yeah, that's a good point. So, hey, 34-28. 34-28.
Hey, you know what this felt like? Let's flash it back a second. You want to flash it back for a second?
Bring me full circle.
Felt like 2012. Andrew Maxwell throwing that game-winning touchdown to Benny Fowler to beat Wisconsin in overtime to propel Michigan State to a bowl game. What happens next year? Rose Bowl. We're going to the Rose Bowl. We're winning it all next year.
You heard it here first. How can you even, respond to that?
How can you argue?
Right. That's just logic. Like, that is proven logic. This is great. Yes. Oh, man. So, also in our bowl game coming up, too, just like 2012, our running back will be our leading passer going into the 4th quarter. And then the backup, Payton Hauser, is going to take the throne
and
in
then
the Duke Mayo Bowl.
All schools, all-time leading passer and winning as quarterback. Oh, my God. It's happening before our eyes.
And we said this segment would be a sad segment.
This is the happiest segment of the year.
This is for the true ones that stick around to the very end. That's right. If you got through all the slop of the first 33 How about that for some enlightenment to get you out the door into the rest of your weekend, into your week? Connor, this was a great time. I gotta say, I didn't think we'd be doing a victory show today. This is great. You did. You had the script written in front of you before the game even kicked off.
What did I tell you before the game?
You said that they're gonna win, Connor, and I said, what did I say? I said like stop, or I said
you were trying to be negative today before the game.
Mm-hmm.
You said something about Scotty Hazelton, something, and I said, what did we talk about? And you said, stop it.
Yeah, that sounds accurate.
Yep.
Shoot. Well, I got God again. Well,
you
know what? Here's this for a prediction. We're not going to lose this Saturday, but how you like that? Because we're squarely in the bye week, Connor. That's
I like
right.
That. When was the last time we haven't? Okay, never mind. That's a stupid. Never mind.
Nope. Go on.
No. I don't forget everything. I've had a couple too many Twisted Teas today.
How are they, by the way? They taste different on East Lansing soil, don't they?
Oh, they taste different after a win.
Amen. Because Ryan Herrings, he does Locked On Badgers. Very nice guy. He texted me after the game like, "Hey, congrats on the win." And I'm like, it feels very odd tonight to have like a beer that tastes like happy. Not like a sad one. It's very nice to be on this side, and we get to sit on this over the bye week too. It's pretty nice. Hey, look, what happens in 2 Saturdays? Neither here nor there. We're going to enjoy this one just for a little bit because it's been a while, Connor. It's been a hot second, a hot minute, a hot 4 weeks. But Spartans are back. Neon Keon is him. Jayden Reed is him. Jacoby Windmon's him. Who else gets him of the day award? Sorry, I'm prolonging this. I should
Payton
let you
Thorne was him today.
Yeah, Payton Thorne him. Eli Collins looked like him. Jalen Berger showed signs of him on that touchdown run. I like that a lot.
Collins is always him, but I don't think he gets enough credit for being him.
That's true. Jacoby Windmon, I'm fine to upgrade Jacoby Windmon to just Himothy. He was everything you could have asked for on defense today.
He was great.
Simeon Barrow, too. I love Simeon Barrow. God, the defensive line just did so good today. The whole defensive line is just a group of hymns. It's like we're at church. Just a bunch
Bryce
of
Behringer, him.
Oh God, of course, yeah. Well, and he's got a cannon for an arm. Like he could be like a multi-position player in the NFL.
Well,
should I stop drinking? Was that my sign right there?
It's a little too far, but I mean, I'll let it happen. But Jayden Reed punt returning him. Is there a better punt returner in the country when he gets like 5 yards?
No shot.
No shot.
No shot. The one that he returned, I loved it because he caught the ball and he stood there for roughly 12 minutes just dissecting what he was going to do that play. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if they showed the replay, or I don't know if you saw the replay in the stadium or not of the flag, but like, God, man, was that 50-50. Like very well could have been no flag, but like at the same time, it's like, oh man. So I didn't hate that call, but
I hated it just because I didn't see it.
Now, look, if we're talking about a 34-28 loss, yeah, I absolutely despise it. But like, since it was, no skin off our backs, luckily, it was such a 50-50 call. But also, at the end of the day, a moot point. And do you know what isn't a moot point, Connor? How great of a person you are, how great of work you do for Spartan Avenue, for SpartanShadows.com. Any final words before we get out here? I don't know. Like you already said, we're in the Rose Bowl next year. That's going to be tough to beat, but
I just want to say I enjoy every time you have me on here, even though I'm not Mel Tucker, and it's disappointing for your listeners. It's disappointing for you. I mean, you shot your shot with
not entirely. Yeah.
Well, maybe after today, you're kind of mad at Mel today, but he got you a win. Don't argue it. You've gone in on Mel.
I'm just worried. I'm worried. I don't want a complete 3-ring circus to happen like what happened today and then it lead to a loss, because that's not going to do anyone good. I'm just worried about Mel. That's how I'm going to phrase it.
Don't worry.
Am I mad? Like, yeah, I am a little bit, but I want to put on this masquerade that, no, I'm just worried. I just care about him. And
don't worry.
Really?
Yeah.
Don't worry.
He'll be all right.
Everything's going to be okay?
Everything will be all right.
Hey, everything was okay today. And you said it was, and it came true. So there you go.
Hey, I'm right every now and then.
It sounds like you're right every time. I don't know. The track record speaks for itself, but here we go, Connor. Well, hey, until next time, gang, we will be back Monday. Talk with Stephen Brooks, 24/7 Sports. I know that I said we're going to be talking with John Garcia on Monday. If anyone even paid attention to that on Friday's show, I got the dates mixed up. I'm very sorry. We'll be talking with John Garcia later in the week, though. He's the recruiting director of Sports Illustrated. A lot of good chat coming up there when that does happen. So sorry if I tease that. You got excited. You just got to wait another day or two. But until then, hey, love you all. You guys are all the best. Go Green.
Go White.